On the Fringe with Dan, RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I've got a good show put together today. A lot of weird stuff going on. Want to cover a couple interesting key points before we get started. Kind of maybe frame some of this. But I do think the battle that we're going through right now is a war against the deep state. I've kind of been saying that over and over and over. And a huge part of their structure is money. Central banks. When you think about 2% of every single dollar, roughly, but it's pretty close probably to the truth, 2% of every dollar printed, 2% goes to the deep state. So if I buy a dollar as the treasury, it costs me $1.02. And I give that 2 cents to the Federal Reserve. It's a private organization licensed out of Puerto Rico. They are not part of the federal government in any way, shape, or form. Yet they print our money and charge us 2 cents on every single dollar to do that. That structure must end. There's no need for it. The Treasury should mint its own coins. And here's an example of one of them. $100 coin. It's worth right now about what, 4683 as of when I did the screenshot. 4683. But it's a $100 coin, $100 treasury coin. Kind of goes to show you how badly inflated stuff really is. That's the equivalent. 100 equals 4683. Damn. So the only way we can stop them is to cut off all their power, all their money. We've done USAID. We've done all these things, right? Cut all their money from all these different places. We're doing it more with the DEI and all this different stuff. All these non-governmental organizations, Pentagon's looking into their stuff. We talked about this all recently. We are going after their money, but that's the small player money, really. I mean, it bleeds up to them for sure. But the big player money is the Fed. The central bank, the world central bank, the International Monetary Fund. All of these things tied together is the control over countries, what owns things they probably shouldn't, and is what Trump is fighting against. When you look at the leaders of like France, Europe, for example, right? France, Germany, European Union for sure, England, Canada, and they're not part of Europe, but still, right? When you look at these people, Denmark, when you look at these people, you know they're deep state. You know they're not voted in legally. You know the people don't like them. They have the lowest approval ratings ever. In some cases, like in England, they're refusing to do elections in a lot of locations because they know they'll lose control. Here in the United States, they don't want to give up voter rolls because they know they'll lose control. The deep state is being mangled. They're fighting hard. There's a lot of things they can do. One thing they want to do is destroy the stock market. But what Trump is trying to, I think, do is keep the stock market good-ish, but destroy the currency and force them to do it and take the blame, which they're kind of doing. We've got a lot happening. This Greenland thing is a major piece of this. Critical part of this technology. I honestly think this has a lot to do with old technology. Some of you Tartaria people, bet you we'll find some fun connections in Greenland. I know we've quote unquote done a bunch of stuff there ourselves, but I think there was a reason why we were there. I also wonder Greenland, maybe it was Atlantis. I don't know. I still wonder. I think Antarctica was Atlantis, in which case maybe Greenland was Lemuria. Again, I'm speculating. This is just woo stuff. These questions I ask in my mind. I don't know for sure. I'm not assuming any of this is right. But they're questions I'm thinking about. I'm like, I wonder. Because Greenland's this funny little place that everybody really gives a shit about. Now, it's because, quote unquote, we've got Arctic passage. You know, it's melted because of, I don't know, it melted is what everyone keeps saying. It's going to freeze back up. It always does. They've got icebreakers. Russia has many of them. They keep those shipping lanes open, sure. But it is, it's going to freeze back up. So we've got a lot of crazy stuff going on in the sun. We're going to talk about that. Something crazy happened with it yesterday. And we've got it pointed at us right now with some craziness going on. Now it's just on the one shot. We haven't had a second one yet, but this is a big one. It's a big one. And it was a long duration, reasonably long anyways. A lot of things are happening. Trump is fighting the whole deep state. He's got our support. That's how this was working out. We're literally the soldiers. You and me. Backing him up. Now, sure, maybe there's some others, but really, do they matter? You and me are the ones that matter. Certainly you. We are changing things. This is big. The world is partially ready, not ready, depends who you ask. Many people are going to have different experiences of this. Not all people are going to have as hard a time. The people that are most resistant to the changes will have the hardest time with the changes. And a lot of changes, when they have to happen, they will. So again, some people I don't know how far they've got to wake up. This is one thing I've been struggling to understand for my entire time. Some people are very, very awake. I think it's people that are more older soul type people. And then some people are just sort of awake, but maybe that's as good as they're going to get, and it's okay, and it's hard to know if that actually gets better or no. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's like spiritual intelligence, I guess, would be my better way to... it's just hard to tell how spiritually intelligent somebody is. Sometimes, when they're intelligent for sure, it's very easy. When they're not, it's tricky, because everybody's a higher dimensional being for the most part. Donald Trump, pictures of the past. It's kind of funny. 2023, the mugshot one. 2024, shot in the ear, right? Fight. 2025, F you, pretty much. 2026, the middle finger, definitely an F you. This is where we're at. This infuriated ICE agent is just pissed off at protesters. This is beautiful. This was a moment. I hope this guy ends up on a poster somewhere. This is fantastic. Check this dude out.
So you're reporting. We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, they're not. No, we're pressing. We're not.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
I understand.
Literally protecting a child molester, child sex offender. The deep state, the Dems, the communists, whatever, the Uniparty, they don't know how else to be, I guess. I can't figure it out. Again, I've got family members that are directly it's just how can they not see this? It's overwhelming. We've got hotels now temporarily shutting down in Minneapolis, St. Paul area due to heightened levels of danger caused by leftist rioters, the insurrectionists. Now, what I love the most is everybody has been, he's going to do the Insurrection Act. He's going to do the Insurrection Act. And so insanity starts to erupt in Minneapolis because they want him to do the Insurrection Act. And what's Trump do? Good old-fashioned, typical Trump fashion. Nah, we're going to wait, maybe, but not yet. It's just in one location. They should be able to control this themselves. Why do I need to get involved? And everyone's looking at themselves going, wait, but don't you have to? Because they're attacking ICE agents. And he's like, yeah, we just brought in more ICE agents. And we're showing the world how crazy this is. And this isn't even the worst place yet. This is just a great example. And somebody that ran for president, or vice president, but still. So they are literally, because of the crazy rioting, they're shutting down hotels. I don't know if you guys have known, too, either, by the way. We've got a huge storm coming in. We're going to talk about that in a second, this freezing thing. But first, I want to talk about Don Lemon. Looks like they're putting the squeeze on him. Yeah, that was totally a pun. And on purpose. He's on notice right now. What he did is he went into a church. I don't want to actually play his footage because it's more fun to play other stuff. I think it was his, the other thing we're going to play, but I don't want to give him credit. They literally barged into a church. They're claiming it's a First Amendment thing. Problem is, there's this thing called separation of church and state. And at First Amendment, you are not allowed to barge into a church. It was a Christian church, by the way. I'm not sure which denomination. What a douche. But he got himself in a world of trouble doing this. In fact, the administration's pretty pissed off at him. Before we get to that, this is this Minneapolis pastor that was involved with the douche hole. Here he is.
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
okay, but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world.
The Department of Justice is investigating the incident with Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon saying they're looking into violations of the Federal FACE Act for desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers.
They literally worshiping Christ. Praying. Even if you don't care about prayer, that's the people that you're going to go and protest. Why? Because they're most likely conservative? I mean, that's actually kind of blending into the other side a little too, because a lot of people are Christian on the left as well. Alina Habba says DOJ will come down hard on anti-ICE agitators after church targeted. I don't think I have it recent, or if it even made it yesterday. Yesterday was a blur to me. But this, they're appealing one of the cases they shut down in regards to her, ties into the Comey stuff. They're using a lot of the same nonsense, but specifically I think the Alina Habba one is the one they're appealing, the arrest she was working on. That is going to move forward and has been allowed to move forward. There's a strong chance Trump's going to put these people back in some way, shape, or form. And so, again, we'll see. But Habba, whatever the case is, says that we're going to come down hard on anti-ICE agitators after church was targeted. You can't do that. And she's just a senior advisor. No matter what the case is, she'll make sure whoever's there will make sure of that. Interesting statistic, 43% of people say faith has grown amid national revival. This is compared to just 11% who say they've become less so. So a lot more people seem to be kind of heading in the spiritual direction. Kind of tripping right now, being like, it does kind of look almost like shizzle's getting weird and times are sort of upon us a little bit, even for the people that have read nothing, have heard plenty of stories, right? Well, here we are, experiencing and living through a lot of it. And I would assume for the people that are more progressively minded, they're probably in a panic. Think about it for a second. Right? You might wake up every day and be like, oh no, I have to go somewhere. Right? And they're like, Trump's going to destroy everything. And they're running around worried about that all day. Can you imagine the levels of anxiety these people experience? They're going to pop. Or that's kind of what's happening. And I think, to a degree, I think that's either A, just part of the process of this evolution into a higher density, or things are speeding up and pressure's coming down so tight, these people can't take it, right? They're so fractured internally, emotionally, and spiritually even probably, that they really can't process what's happening in the world right now. And again, timelines have shifted. I just think there's so many things that come into play. But whatever the case is, it is happening. So people are waking up. Very, very cool. This is just funny. This is... no. Oh, cool. This is like old school commercial. I don't know if you guys remember the good old-fashioned 80s and stuff where they had awesome commercials. This you will probably appreciate. Thank you. I love that. He flushes the toilet, the water gets cold, and it does that predator or the alien scream. That is just some funny ass stuff. Funny ass stuff. That's why I shared it. I saved it. All right, it's about a minute of this. We got a big hit, and I love my boy Dave. Dave's a good guy. He gets pissed off at people too. I appreciate that because, man, I get frustrated sometimes. The public is the hardest part. He experiences it as well. No offense to any of you as individuals, but it is the hardest part about this. Hands down. Not even close. No competition. Everything else is like, I can figure this out. The people, shit, it's hard to deal with. Man, I don't know how to. Anyway, I love you guys. I do. I swear. I promise. Here is Ben Davidson talking about this horrible effect that the sun just did on us, pooed on us. We're going to see, by the way, for people that don't believe in this stuff, here's the thing. In 2 days or so, you're literally going to see Aurora Borealis in really southern places like Texas, Florida, which never happens. All right, so for all you people that, I don't know, to me, the flat earth model doesn't fit for that either. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just saying there's a lot of weird things to me that suggest the earth might be roundish. This is one of them, the Aurora Borealis, how that happens, what we're seeing on the fake sun that's a light bulb, and actually what happens a couple days later in the planet that we can experience and see. I don't know. For me, I trust that a lot more than a lot of crap I hear. So, all said, here's something big that's going to cause some shit.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. We'll get to Bepi Colombo in another magnetic pole shift article, but the big story today is the X-class solar flare that has erupted. It hit X 1.99, calling that X2, and the CME that erupted was powerful. It's the Riger cycle uptick we have been discussing for a month, and while we are going to watch for more flares from the sunspot that directly faces Earth today, the tracking of yesterday's blast is primary since it appears almost certain the shockwave is heading our way. Disappointingly, NOAA has not yet updated their Enlil spiral or forecast for this event. I know it was Sunday and a holiday today, but this is like the FAA. You work holidays. By the way, last night's live stream, there hadn't been any proton surge, and this morning we wake up at level 3 proton radiation storm status. Good thing the ISS is empty. And as for the CME, the coronagraphs on both GOES and SOHO clearly show a full halo eruption. While the densest portion went left and will miss us, the broader, fainter, faster front shock is heading right at us and will impact in about 1 or 2 days, at least according to NASA's Enlil spiral. The coronal hole solar wind enhancement is due any hour now, so that will precondition Earth's geomagnetic field for the CME impact. No official forecast for this event yet, but my forecast is for KP 6 or 7 when impact occurs late on the 20th, but if it were to arrive early, say tonight, KP 7 or 8.
And that's the important part. And Ben, I'm not putting words in his mouth. You agree with me. The solar, these holes here, right? These things, one, they cause high earthquake activity, generally in the same vicinity. So if it's like in the mid-latitudes, they tend to be mid-latitudes on Earth. We have earthquakes. If it's the higher latitudes, it seems to be. It's just, it's not always true. But anyway, this causes solar wind, like an extra strong wind these things do, right? Now, this is a couple days ahead of this, right? It takes about 3 days, 4 days, depending, for this wind, this enhanced solar activity that comes out of these dark spots, these coronal holes, essentially. They're ahead of it. When we have solar coronal mass ejections, those can typically take about the same amount of time, 3 days. But the longer duration ones that they've had, they're actually faster. They're higher energy. They're usually put out with a lot more force, and they tend to arrive sooner. Now, sometimes it seems in the wake of the solar wind, coronal mass ejections seem to almost have this like ability to kind of go faster than they normally would. Almost like if you're riding behind a wave, kind of how you almost have that one maybe just behind you that's pushing you. Whatever the case is, this could be an interesting recipe. Now, again, would it be totally off the charts? I don't know. Our magnetic field's weakening. It depends where that's at, and it depends how this 1-2 punch happens. The solar wind definitely is an extended period of time. because it's a slow-moving process, so it's like, bleh, it's just pooing all over you. This thing's a little faster in general. So, again, this was a big deal, and we'll see. All right, enough time on that. Drone video showing a massive 100-plus vehicle pileup in Michigan. And injuries reported amid dangerous winter conditions. I don't know what road this is. It's 2 minutes. I guess we can play some of this. We'll try anyways. There's no, so it's just drone footage with no talking, and it's on Fox? Why does that not feel proper? Something doesn't feel right. Anywho, yeah, someone else's drone, I guess. That's weird. Anyway, very bad. So yeah, don't drive on that road. Oh God, that looks horrible. Again, always have a blanket, always have water, always have shoes you can walk in, or boots if you're in this crazy kind of place. Make sure you can survive something crazy like that. Supreme Court, Scott Bessent is saying that they're not going to overturn tariffs. I love the fact that he's saying that. It was making me feel better because I've been nervous. And he's right. I mean, I've basically been saying myself that I think they were going to, and then basically say if Congress wants to take this power away from the president, then Congress can do that. But for the most part, he should be able to do this. They've been doing this. This is what happens and seems to be a fair fitting of the law, blah, blah, blah. But Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, says it's very unlikely that the Supreme Court will strike down President Trump's tariffs, seconding legal experts who've argued that the justice's delay in ruling on the issue improves the odds the levies will remain in place. Quote, I believe that it is very unlikely that the Supreme Court will overrule a president's signature economic policy, Bessent said. He said, quote, they did not overrule Obamacare. I believe that the Supreme Court does not want to create chaos, end quote. So the High Court is expected to hand down this ruling soon. With the concept of not wanting to create controversy, it actually might be an 8-1. I'm curious, though. And there's probably going to be all sorts of stuff written into it. But long story short, this gives Trump the ability to in an agile manner, especially for you project manager people out there, but in an agile kind of manner, be able to deal and address with the environments and changing environments of the world. And to constantly have to go back to Congress to get anything accomplished, that's stupid. We'd never get anything accomplished. He would literally be paralyzed. And as the executor of the executive branch and the president, he should have some pretty strong abilities to interact with nations internationally, right? I mean, he should. So we'll see. I hope that's true. Venezuela, silver, Greenland, so much going on. So this really gets into the money. This gets into how China and the Communist Party are being cut off from oil. And what this is heavy leverage. They were getting a lot of oil at a very cheap price from Venezuela. That's no longer happening. And because of that, China's like, fudge. Now, it's been building pathways with Russia, but we've made that difficult as well. So China is in a very, 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 very tough place right now. And this really does come down to China's kind of the last place of this major communist sector. Now, again, maybe Israel saved last. I don't know. It's hard to say anymore. Israel's kind of going through a weird thing right now, and I kind of feel like, I don't know. We'll see. Still early in the game, right? Still early in the game. Don't know what's going to happen with them. They're, of course, a wild card. China, they've got, a population that needs help. They've got an economy that's so in bad shape, and the Communist Party's failed, and it's a failure, and at some point they've got to be able to accept that and move out of it. And many have suspected that Xi was supposed to be the one, or is supposed to be the one, to do that. A lot of weird things have happened, but it's very hard to get through the iron curtain, if you will, of China. Now, CIA put out a video. I didn't play it because it's all in Chinese, so it'd be a waste of 2 minutes. But it was a video that's to the Chinese people. That's basically like, narc on your country, and here's how you do it. Tell on them. Give us the information, help us out. We'll try to work this out and try to get you free. And people in China, for the most part, want to be free. So this is part of that larger power play. Everybody, again, people that are simple-minded want to make everything a single, oh, it's about the oil. It can be about multiple things simultaneously. And all of you get to be right, okay? It's stupid to, it's like, it's one thing. No, it's not. It's never just one thing. That's stupid. It's multiple things. We're definitely seeing that play out. The election systems were based out of Venezuela. That's not a surprise. Largest amount of oil, very powerful place. That's why the deep state was doing all the vote control, and it was going to be China that was doing it, and they were directly involved. And that is a war crime. This is way bigger than we're probably ever going to fully understand, and a lot of it's going to be speculation or crazy people like me that are just, saying stuff that, can't prove. Trump truth this out, though. Building a New York stock exchange in Dallas is an unbelievably bad thing for New York. I can't believe they would let this happen. A big test for the new mayor. He's not going to be able to pass this test. Losing the New York Stock Exchange, the tax money from the transactions that happen, that'll be the end of New York City. No matter what their hopes were. And Mom Donnie will be the final mayor that New York has. Trump is going to unveil a plan allowing home buyers to use their 401k funds for down payments. Pretty cool. We'll see. I don't know how far away this is from going into action. I mean, everything with Trump, it's generally pretty quick. But the likelihood that you'd be able to use, and 401ks are pre-tax money, so it'd be very interesting if they hose you on the taxes or if they let you use pre-tax money to down payment on a home. That would be super cool if they let you use pre-tax money on the down payment. That would be super cool because, in fact, you could use more of it. Now, all sorts of loan people are going to have all sorts of cool plans, like the more money you use from your 401k, it's all, everybody gets a little piece of the pie. That's how it works. But yeah, 401ks, it would be the better use of stock market money. I mean, I think obviously precious metals is right now. I mean, this would be a good choice of mortgage for sure. Now, see where we're at with silver. So I took a screenshot when it was the highest I'd seen it, and it's a teeny bit down from there. Still really good, so good enough. We'll leave it. $5.73 silver's gone up today. It went down a bit Friday. Again, the up and down, the wobble, this is not good. But gold's up. That means inflation's down. What's funny is really the stock market. So we're going to talk about it kind of elsewhere with the Greenland thing. But the European stock market, the Asian stock markets were down a bunch today because of what Trump said about the tariffs. Now, they're trying to play it down like it's no big thing, but a chicken wing on a string. But the world took a poo because of what Trump did about Greenland. Literally, stock markets went down multiple percents in all other markets. Ours is down, a bit, 1%, not much, not a crash. But Asian markets, all right, they recovered a little. Yeah, they started hard down. They brought back up. That's good. Good for them. They're about us. They're like the same with us then. Europe, what about them? Europe's a little heavier than us, but again, some of it was recovered. They had a hard down. Again, I was looking at this earlier in the day. Stuff always they try to clean it up at the end of the day as well, is what I noticed anyways. Cryptos were down heavy earlier. Where are they at now? Oof, yeah, they fell off the cliff. Damn. Bitcoin lost 2,200. That's 93 though. Not bad. Still high. That's like I think their new sweet spot. And I think a lot of people want to believe it's going to go higher. I don't think crypto, Bitcoin especially, I've been hearing some crazy stuff anyway. Whatever. We'll find out. We'll find out. Bitcoin's also just crap technology. But that said, we've got a major issue. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, I'll tell you one thing. If you can get your buying power pushed over into precious metals, you'll stop losing buying power on a regular basis. You'll be able to get more of that home later. If Trump does initiate that and you're looking to buy a home, I would hang tight for that, to be honest with you. But if you've got money that you want to save the buying power and be able to purchase more with it, or at least as much as you can today, not yesterday, not 2 weeks ago. No, the day you do the deal is the day you lock in your inflation protection. So this is the thing. You're losing buying power every single day. And what I mean by that is, this is a good example. Back in 1913, this 1 ounce coin, gold coin, was worth about $30. $30, I could get a handmade tailored suit. $30. Handmade tailored suit. Today, this 1 ounce coin will still buy me a handmade tailored suit, except it now costs $4,683 to get that handmade tailored suit. That's buying power. It was $30 back in 1913. The same exact thing, except now this thing's valued at $4,600. It'd still buy me a suit, and it'll still protect my buying power. Do you realize back in 1913, you could buy 30 Hershey's candy bars for $1. Today, you can buy a discount pack of gummy worms for $1. Inflation. This protects your buying power. Silver is actually multiplying, so it not only protects, you're actually making buying power with silver. Silver's got a huge multiplier that's going to kick in, mostly because of the paper contracts that have just really screwed the prices. There's a lot of discussions about how that's going to affect and things, how it's going to play out. We don't know. Don't know how it's going to affect stock markets, banks. There's a lot of discussions around this. This could be a bank killer, and probably will be, depending on how these paper contracts really are working and if they literally are losing money like they seem to be. I mean, we're seeing the prices of silver just bouncing like mad. Right? I mean, it's just crazy. Today it's been pretty stable. Nice. But we take it over the, year to date even, right? Up, down, but it keeps going up. You noticing that? And that's just year to date. It's just January. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. You got a 401k or an IRA. Get some of that buying power protected and potentially multiplied. Silver. Beautiful. Get as much of it as you can. Well, as much of it as you can afford. Much of it as you can. You're going to get up to 10% free silver from Goldco just for doing business with I think, arguably the best company that does this. Just customer service. They've got multiple suppliers. They can help, especially nowadays when supplies might not be as easy to get. Goldco is going to be a step ahead of everyone else, I'll tell you that. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Plus, if you can, call the phone number they provide within 20 minutes, I think the little pop-up says. You can get 4 data points, hit the, yes, send me my thing. If you can call, I think they will hook you up with that little half-ounce Ronald Reagan. It's 0.9999% pure silver. It's beautiful. Great collector's coin. As of right now, what silver's $95 basically. So a half ounce of that, just on dollar value, it's worth more than that because it's minted coinage, and on top of that, it's also got Ronald Reagan on the front, so it's collector. So it's worth way more than that. That's just for saying thanks. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of it tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% free silver, and a free coin for calling within 20 minutes. Protecting your wealth, folks. Trying my best to help you. I was just talking to one of the guys that got in way early when I first started talking about Goldco, and he's still super stoked because every day he is seeing how he's actually making buying power. Gold's outperforming inflation a little bit right now, so there it is. He's stoked. He told me he was stoked again. It's been, 3 years. Plus, 4 years maybe. He's loving it. It's not too late. Not by a long shot. Don't be one of the people that's, I wish I woulda. You don't have to. You don't have to do all of it. You can do part of it. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before that system gets out of you. Tulsi Gabbard, she's talking about the election nonsense, and I believe this is a reasonably current video, I think.
And lastly, sir, as you know, declassification and rooting out weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community is a huge priority. You know more than anyone else the very dangerous and negative consequences of that. I've got a long list of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this, election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
Hell yeah. Now, fact checkers, one of the things that you want to pay attention to, Tulsi Gabbard, they've been giving a very hard time, and they continue to talk about how Trump doesn't have faith in her and how she was disagreed with the elections and some stuff with Venezuela. These comments were literally made, it was before she was in this position. I want to say 2019, 2018, way in Trump's first term. So I don't think she necessarily knew what she knows now. So it's just funny because they're referring back to something that it was years ago, quite a few anyways, compared to where she's at now and where she was then. She certainly didn't know anything at all, really, then. Just because you're in the armed forces doesn't mean you get top secret classified information. You know what you need to know, and you know nothing more than that. If you got an op going on, it's going to involve some technology, they'll probably read you in on some stuff and tell you if you ever friggin' tell anyone, we'll put a bullet in your head. Not quite like that, but... DOJ sues Virginia for failing to turn over voter rolls, so we know failure's coming for these deep state thugs. We know exactly what they're going to do. We know they're going to fight us on the legal front, and we know we can't win on the legal front. We could win in most places, but not every place, and it's not going to work if it's not every place. I would expect that the executive order that Trump does, one, he'll have funding covered for it to pay for the voting, probably if it needs to be. And two, he'll, and it'll be done through tariffs most likely. And he'll do the executive order for the paper ballots. No machines, this election, sorry. And he's not going to give them enough time to mess with stuff. Now, a lot of this is going to come down to registrations as well, but if you've got verification of the voter at the time of voting, then it almost doesn't matter if you've got dirty rolls. Because they can't flood in a bunch of mail-in stuff. They can't flood in a bunch of fake people that don't have legitimate credentials. They can't flood anything. All they can do is send legal citizens who most likely aren't happy with the way the administration, say, of Minnesota, for example, is doing, Democrat or Republican. I don't think they want to see a bunch more Somalians coming in and taking charge and control and Sharia law and all the stuff that's been happening and the amount of theft that's been happening. I'm willing to bet Minnesotans are tired of it. You give them a fair election, I bet you we'll see very different things. And then we got, people like Thomas Massey or people like, I don't know if he's independent or if he's technically Republican. Or we've got some other people that, Rand Paul, for example. Again, Kentucky. Don't know what's going on. Something's up with Kentucky. Mitch McConnell's in Kentucky. Something's up with Kentucky. Again, Kentucky and Minnesota. Again, Kentucky might be one of the ones that we're saving till later because they don't want to necessarily go after him yet. But that's coming. And I'm going to bet any of the people that are from Kentucky are going to, I know we got one good guy over there. I forget the guy with the white hair. Is it Comer? Is he? I feel like one of those guys from Kentucky. One of the ones I kind of like. I'll say it's Comer. Place is falling apart, guys. It's all right, though. We're getting there. Got all sorts of fraud, of course. ICE agents are the ones breaking the law, not the peaceful protesters. This is what they keep saying. This is their side of the fence. They're politicians. This guy's a senator, Chris Van Hollen. ICE agents are the ones breaking the law. Literally, insurrection speech. This is a government agency fulfilling government duties, upholding the law. And a senator is calling them criminals, which is causing all sorts of problems. Donald Trump threw this out there, $19 billion in Minnesota Somali fraud. Fake Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a constant complainer who hates the USA, knows everything there is to know. She should be in jail or even a worse punishment, sent back to Somalia, considered one of the absolutely worst countries in the world. She could help to make Somalia great again. Here is Ilhan Omar, extraordinarily recently, letting us know how she feels about this country that's given her so much, certainly money,
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. goddamn states.
The U.S. GD states. First off, the U.S. states isn't even proper, you retard. It's the United States, you fuckface. That's a pretty good fuckface right there. You guys got to admit, that's a fuckface. If that's not a fuckface, I've never seen a Somali fuckface, so I don't even know. I apologize. Maybe I've impersonated a fuckface when I shouldn't have. You never know. Kind of had fuckface on it, though. Right, didn't it? I don't know, whatever. Here is, this is Nick's, who's this dude? Was it Nick Sorter? Yeah, it was him. He's the one that got dragged down the street, by the way. I will play some of this. Oh, no, we can't? No, we cannot. Yeah, he got dragged down the street. Hand stuck in the door handle. They stole his camera, worth probably a $1,000 camera, right? They stole it, which he got attacked by people. First off, again, being on the streets, not necessarily smart or safe. But this is what's happening. This was hilarious. Just, again, CBS Face the Nation. This chick is, Margaret's just like, trying to, that fact's not true. And she's like, yeah, it is. Kristi Noem's, she's not just hot. She's got it going on. I like it.
What's the breakdown of the percentage of those who you have in custody who have actually committed a criminal offense versus just the civil infraction?
Every single individual has committed a crime, but 70% of them have committed or have charges against them on violent crimes and crimes that they are charged with or have been convicted of that have come from other countries that are here illegally, first of all, and then they have committed a criminal act while they've been here or in their home countries as well.
It's not 70%.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
70% of everyone
you guys keep changing your percentage. You pick and choose what numbers you think work, but that is the facts, is that 70% of the people that we have detained have charges against them or have been convicted of charges, and they need to be brought to justice. And we're going to keep doing that no matter how much you guys keep lying and don't tell the public the truth. It absolutely is that these law enforcement officers are out there every day doing the work to protect the American people, and they will keep doing that because they believe in enforcing the law, which is exactly what President Trump has charged them with.
Hell yeah. Right? You guys know it. You feel it. 4 MS-13 illegal aliens have been arrested in Maryland after they hacked a 14-year-old boy to death with a machete. So, again, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, guy that was bitching about how the actual criminals or the ICE agents, is defending his MS-13 gang members that literally hacked a boy to death. Just, that's the side they're on. Again, there's no way they survive this. Kash Patel claiming Chicago has around 5% of their population being gang members. 5% of their population.
Taking the juggernaut that is demolishing the weaponization of law enforcement and bringing it to places like Chicago. When I was there today with Todd, we learned that the Chicago city streets have 110,000 gang members. That's right, you heard me right. They had 1,200 shootings this year alone, 360 homicides. When politicians choose to side with those metrics and not their citizenry, thank God we have President Trump and this Department of Justice and this FBI going in there and crushing violent crime. And President Trump sent us into these cities quietly to set the stage, to set up for the National Guard, to see the success that we saw in Washington, D.C., in Memphis. The FBI has been leading the charge in every single one of these streets because we know how to gather ground-level intelligence, and we know how to put handcuffs on the bad guys, and we know that we have the backing of this administration. And most importantly, the agents at the FBI know that they have the backing of the American people and their government.
There you go. So, yeah, we are taking back the streets, taking back this country. It is being shown and broadcast publicly as the ridiculousness that it is. We are seeing the changing of the guard. Now, this was AAG Harmeet Dillon that was putting this out. He was responding to Rome on the Potomac. He said, AAG Dillon, how much more do you need? And she says, this is a federal system. We need judges to sign off on the arrest warrants, learn some civics. The state could have arrested people yesterday, but they didn't. They're dragging their feet. They've got legal proceedings. It's just, this is the game. Again, that's why Trump's going to have to do an executive order for the elections, period. And it's going to have to be done in such a fashion as to only barely give them enough time to print the ballots, and then you can fight it later, but it'll be too late to do anything about it because we'll have already made it happen. They're going to try to get in front of it, but they're not going to be able to. And they're going to be losing the optics war because of what's happening, because of their choices. They're being destroyed. Is it happening fast enough? I actually think it is. I don't think we could handle faster, frankly. Do I want it faster? Probably. But, I mean, I kind of actually I like watching people pop a little bit sometimes, to be honest. I don't know. There's this weird part of me that's like when people can't take it and yes. Because they're dicks, man. And it's just fun to watch karma smack someone in the face. I love it. I'm sorry. It's entertaining. I don't make a habit of it because it's not good karma on my side, but hey, you got to dirty it up a little every once in a while. Come on. It's yin and yang, baby. Right? A little bit of black dot and that white perfection. And likewise. Another path, citizenship that's being taken advantage of. There's this whole U visas, I guess. So if you were somebody that is in the country illegally and you witness a crime and you give advice on how to help with that crime, then all of a sudden they're like, well, we'll give you citizenship as a thank you for helping us out. Problem is being totally taken advantage of. A lot of bullshit information being shared, a lot of stuff that's not true. Yet these people are still getting free passes. There is so much fraud happening all over the place. People getting fake IDs. I mean, it's just all over the place. All over the place. Here's the Democrat governor of Wisconsin. And literally, he's talking about how if you take away illegal immigrants, we won't be able to... Illegal immigrants, not legal immigrants who are here seasonally for crops. Normal. Happens here in California my entire life. My entire life. When it was time to pick strawberries, it was a big part of what they were growing here, and oranges. When it was time to pick, there was a flood of people that were Hispanic, spoke zero English, and, we all got along. We figured it out. They paid cash. That's their whole life. They went back home and took the money with them or sent it home or whatever. Illegal immigration is a different thing. You don't pay them the same wage. They're slaves. Democrats using slaves still today. Oh, what do you mean? We pay them. The slaves weren't paid. You pay them a sub wage. Essentially they fed them because they had to. So, okay, you gave them a wage. There you go. A sub wage. You gave them shit food, but you fed them. You gave them stale bread, but you gave them food. This is the Dems, man. Wow, it's the Uniparty.
Our state will be destroyed economically if suddenly we decide anybody undocumented is going home or has to leave Wisconsin, has to leave their Wisconsin home. And you think about dairy farmers, you think about anything agriculture in the state of Wisconsin, it is absolutely, the majority of the work is done by people that are undocumented. So think about what our state will look like. I mean, whatever good things are happening right now in the state will automatically disappear if they start coming into Wisconsin and taking on undocumented folks.
Yeah, I love when they say shit like, everybody will catch on fire immediately and they'll die. Yeah, they're a little on the extreme side frequently. This is just funny as hell. This is CNN. I love this dude. I forget his name. Whatever. I mean, I love him anyways. I don't have to know his name. I told you guys to suck with names, dates. What's the other thing? There's one other thing I suck at. Anyway, out spelling. Oh, shit.
People on the right side.
This is just funny. And this, I don't know who this chick is. She's obviously not the main lady on this show is a black lady. Not that it necessarily matters, but it does kind of. And this guy is this pasty white mofo that literally everyone's fallen in love with, and he does this intentionally, beautifully, like to be the, like I'm good at this. He's better for sure, but I'm like aware, like I know, like I just know like there's certain things you can do with your face during a long-winded conversation. I've done it when I was on Glitch and stuff. There's just things you can do that'll make it obvious you're not content or you're not on board or something. And so he does a bang up job.
You make jokes about people in prison in El Salvador. I mean, these things they speak to the heart of Americans and what we see people are going through. It's not a political standpoint to me. We try to see the humanity in people, and it doesn't seem like people on the right side are capable of that. This is what people voted for. We knew very well who Trump was during the first term, where he had the family separation policy, where he was putting children in cages. People voted for that again and again. I'm done pretending that there are people out there who will see this and be outraged by it. The polling numbers just show that's not true. People will say they don't like it, but they showed up to the voting booth and voted for him again and again. Of nearly 70,000 people in ICE custody right now, less than, I believe, 10% have criminal convictions. I mean, the data shows time and again that this is an unfair, inhumane policy. And so, no, Abby, I don't think this is going to make a difference.
Scott,
Respond to what?
what she just said.
Look, I'm not going to respond to ad hominem attacks on 70 million Americans who decided to vote Republican in the November 2024 election. I don't think it's right. You come out here, you call people liars, you call anybody who votes Republican, you say they don't have a moral compass. I didn't say anybody
who votes Republican. I said the people who voted for Donald Trump.
Okay,
they
he's a
cannot
Republican,
be surprised.
and he won in November with Republicans who voted for him. So don't back away from your
I'm not backing away. I don't think they have a moral compass.
That's how you feel, but I'm not.
You don't ever have to worry about me backing away from that point.
I don't feel like I have to respond to these attacks. In fact, I think you ought to ask her if she really believes 70 million people lack a moral compass.
I believe people who saw what Trump did and voted for him lack a moral compass.
I mean, again, kudos to this chick. I don't know what her name is. I don't watch her at all, but I actually find, I mean, she's definitely politically left-leaning hardcore, but she's oddly sort of weirdly fair in her left-leaning way. Like, not Bill Maher fair, but close. She's getting there. I don't know. This, folks, sorry, but I'm not saying we should celebrate these moments, but...
Oh! Swear to God, I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. Ooh. Come on, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here and touch my fucking truck, bitch. Fuck out of the fucking road next time, you dumb fuck. Touch my fucking truck and tell me to use the fucking
Now, of course, the advice to anybody that's a narco warrior, what do you call you guys? Anarcho warriors? Whatever. Any of you guys that pedophile protectors are out there on the streets, you guys do okay in your groups of many. When you're not numbered properly, when you're just on your way to, like, I don't know, getting lunch or something, careful. I'm not saying it's right. In fact, I'm not saying it's right. Bears, you know, the people used to make aspirin. Then they funneled in the company that made the Roundup. So Bayer, the aspirin company, owns Roundup, and their lawsuits. The important part. All said, yeah. Supreme Court's like, yeah, no, we'll hear this appeal from Bayer. Now, what's interesting about this is the stock prices for Bayer went whoop. Everybody's like, oh, Supreme Court's going to side with them. Now, it will be interesting to see how this goes. But long story short, they don't want to be able to continue to get sued for all the Roundup cancer. Tired of it. They're like, glyphosate says it's safe. Now, remember, by the way, just yesterday's show, Health Secretary Kennedy just said that cell phones are not safe. Do not put them up to your head. Do not shove them in your bras. Do not, please. Any of you ladies out there that seriously cannot protect your own breasts, like you need help. There needs to be, like, your husband, your boyfriend, I'll volunteer in some cases, need to be keeping their hands on your breasts at most times. Obviously, you don't know how to protect them. There should be protection. Oh, that's it. Glyphosate's bad. Booby's good. A lot of money is being involved in this overall big picture. This is one case is $1.25 million. Missouri jury awarded over claims Bayer failed to warn that Roundup causes cancer. Bayer argues the claims are preempted by federal law and maintains the product is safe. They claim their product's safe because, well, places like CDC say their product is safe, or the FDA says their product is safe, but is it? Did Bayer pay them to make it safe? Because these people on the board that are getting paid by rights, you guys, duh, exactly. Obviously, this stuff's not safe and shouldn't be used. Yet, here we are. GOP senators introduce a bill to increase penalties for assaulting ICE officers. You know, if you get busted for assaulting an ICE officer, you can get up to 40 years in prison. 20 to 40. They want to double it. Now, again, first off, I don't think you should assault ICE officers. Second off, I think 20 to 40 years is a pretty fair penalty for someone that's stupid enough to try to do this with a car, with a weapon, with anything. Assaulting. Now, if you actually kill somebody, now that's murder. That's a different thing altogether. That's a totally different story. And you got a whole set of different rules that are going to happen. So just trying to assault an ICE officer, say punching him, kicking him, biting him, 20 to 40 years. It's pretty severe. I don't think that's going to stop anybody if they're like, well, let's make it 40 years. So interestingly, the guy that's doing this, and so this is my point, U.S. Senator John Cornyn. Cornyn? Who's he? You guys remember him. Most of you guys do. Some of you are like, huh? Texas. He's the douchehole. He's the one that was going after, what's the AG guy's name? Paxton over there. This Cornyn guy's a douche. This Cornyn guy's bad mojo. This Cornyn guy's never coming back once he has to go to election again. John Cornyn, I think he's up for election this coming term, this coming one, right? So John Cornyn will never, ever be a senator again. Bye, John Cornyn. Hopefully, by the way, a lot of these guys somehow get arrested and go through tribunals of some kind that we maybe don't know. Maybe we do know. Maybe we get a list of them someday and they're like, this is all the senators that got caught up. You know, and it'll be like 30 years later. I mean, hopefully not. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not saying I'm for that. I'm just saying that's just how they work typically, right? Like 10 years later. Don't want to piss anyone off or something. Yeah, this is getting crazy. We've got Trump's deputy attorney, Todd Blanche, telling Democrats to screw off. He's not investigating all these shootings, the shooting specifically. I'm not looking into this. No, it's not against the law. Fuck you guys. We got other mechanisms to do this. I'm not wasting any of my juice on it.
What happened on that day has been reviewed by millions and millions of Americans because it was recorded on phones when it happened. Okay. The Department of Justice, our civil rights unit, we don't just go out and investigate every time an officer is forced to defend himself against somebody or putting his life in danger. We never do. That has nothing to do with what happened in Minneapolis. There are over 1,000 shootings every year where law enforcement are put in danger by individuals, and they have to protect themselves, and they have a lawful right to do so. The Department of Justice doesn't just stand up and investigate because some congressman thinks we should, because some governor thinks that we should. We investigate when it's appropriate to investigate, and that is not the case here. It wasn't the case when it happened, and it's not the case today. If circumstances change, and there's something that we do need to investigate around that shooting or any other shooting, we will. But we are not going to bow to pressure from the media, bow to pressure from politicians, and do something that we never do. Not under this administration, not under the last administration. And so, no, we are not investigating. And if there comes a time when we need to, we will, but it's not now.
I felt like there was a middle finger in there somewhere. That's kind of how it felt to me. All said. Virginia governor rescinds all of Youngkin's orders requiring ICE cooperation. This is the thing. The new person comes in and undoes everything the old person does. Yeah, here's a face of a communist right there. Look at that communist smile. I'm stealing your soul. She's like me too. She's got a fucked up one eye. That's awesome. I've been stuck having to look at my face a bunch during videos. I'm like, there are so many things wrong with your face. You have a face for radio, Dan, unquestionable. And I do. I have a face for radio. I have a decent voice. My face is fucked up. That's all there is to it. It's fucked up. But, yeah. Hey, gotta love who you are. Love who you are. And be healthy to yourself, by the way. Unfortunately, Stem cells not fixing my face. My fucking face. It's not getting fixed. And I mean just the way it's not proportioned properly. My left, right brain are all out of control, I guess. I don't know what the fuck's happening. It is what it is. Years of misuse, apparently. It's all right. It's awesome. It's good times. I'm enjoying it, though. Yeah, it's fucking my face up, but it's worth it. Just shouldn't try to pretend on making a living with my face. Needless to say, stem-active stem cells, you know what? These are the cells that can become any other cell. They're like, I like to say androgynous cells. There's cells that are like, hey, and then they can become a lung cell, a muscle cell, a bone cell, a brain cell, whatever. They can become whatever. They've got the abilities. Stem cells are something your body naturally produces, okay? This doesn't put any stem cells in you. There's no children were harmed in the making of these stem cells. These stem cells are actually coming from you. You're making them. What this does is it gives your body the ability to make more of them. As we age, that number goes down. It's your healing cells. It's your cells that help you kind of recoup when you need extra help. When you lose those, well, we frankly start to find our bodies deteriorate. And that's what a lot of aging is. Now, again, this isn't going to keep you alive forever, but it's going to add some time to the old clock. It's going to force you to have to adjust the time. You're like, it's weird. Time's not quite correct. Stem active, there's two ways, pills, gel. They've actually got it for dogs too, by the way, pets. It's a chewable tablet. You can get a cat to eat that, and maybe for all animals. But it does the same thing. Much cheaper though. Stem cells are incredible. Like I said, it's not ones from babies. It's disgusting. That's why I love Healthy Home. Healthy Home is awesome. And they are one of the best. Or Heal Thy Home, they even sometimes say, which is a funny way to say it. Dan Radio Style, it's not funny. It's like cool, you know. But danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Balance, ladies, going through the into baby making or out of baby making. This is a transdermal lotion. It's making a huge difference. Ladies are raving about it, whether you're on hormones, synthetic hormones or not. This doesn't have any hormones in it. It's plant-based. Once again, it's like stem cell stuff. It's like making your body kind of deal with it. Women are loving it. I'm going to leave it there. Amaze will amaze you. Ladies, sore, all of us. Skins, your joints, your muscles. Almost every part of your body. Nails, hair. You know, you want to grow hair. Your hair's thinning. Collagen. Collagen's huge. This is peptide. Everyone talks, I got a peptide. If they've got a powder peptide, it's a suck peptide. This peptide is liquid. You don't have to dissolve it. It's not even powdery when you're doing it. It's a liquid. They're serious about what they do. Amaze is amazing. It will amaze you. And it's not a powder. You don't have to mix it into your coffee. You literally, it's a little packet. It's delicious. Drink it, right? If you can squeeze it out sometimes because you're like, I want a little more. I want to get more of that peptide in my body. You will. You're paying for it. You might as well. You got to check out Amaze. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's all those things. Prime is funny. So I've gotten a report from somebody that was doing the Feel Great. They're doing it hard. This is our good friend, Nana. Everyone knows her. She is, in fact, using the Feel Great product, and she was using Prime and Stem Active. One of the things that was happening with her blood and her monitoring, at least, I almost wonder if it affected the monitoring, kind of, but her blood sugar went down to a pretty low level. I don't think she felt weird. She ended up eating a bowl of ice cream and couldn't get her number to change. So again, I don't know. Prime might not be a cool thing if you're heavily diabetic and maybe I don't know if it ties into the Feel Great. I doubt it, but it might not be a good choice if you're diabetic. It might actually make it hard to keep your sugar levels down for whatever reason. It literally, her numbers went low, right? She couldn't get them up. She ate a bowl of ice cream and her numbers are still low. She's like, what the hell? So she kind of freaked her out a little bit. I don't know if she didn't seem like she got sick from it, at least from what she said, but keep that in mind. I mean, but it's also kind of a cool thing if you think about it. Just saying, if you're somebody that actually wants to lower your sugars a little bit, Prime actually might help. It actually just helps with moving oxygen through the body. So I'm not even sure if that just brings more stuff with it or what. Don't know. But Prime is amazing. It gives you energy. And that's the thing she was pissed about. She's like, I lose the energy. I loved it. She's like, I was running around like a crazy person. That's exactly what it does. It just gives you energy. You don't feel it. I gave some to my housekeeper. She's going to give it to her husband. Husband does construction. He's going to try it. He has no idea. He's never met me. He's never listened to my bullshit. He is going to try it. And I'm going to hear about it probably next week. And I'll bet you money he's like, yeah, I feel like I got more energy. He's going to love it. That's what it does. Just more oxygen. Your muscles get more oxygen. Your brain gets more oxygen. Your body gets more oxygen. All the blood that is delivered has more of that important thing, which is mostly oxygen. Well, nutrients and bullshit, but oxygen's like number one. Highest on the list. And again, STEM Active for Pets. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. These incredible stuff. Keep you healthy, keep you safe, and it gets you thinking in the right direction, too. That's the important part. United Airlines flight. It loses a nose wheel. Whoops. During a landing at Orlando International Airport. Now, I just want to say everybody, it was Boeing, right? No, it wasn't. It was Airbus this time. Which made me happy. But then it dawned on me. I'm like, it's they're like 737-ish thing, right? I think. I don't know their versions very well, and I can never tell. If it looks like one of the smaller ones based off of how many windows there are, right? So it's not like the 757 equivalent. This small little guy, the A321, the Neo. It lost one of its nose wheels. Whoops. And I think it still kept one of them. The other one fell off. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's not good. You don't want that to happen. Airbus lost a wheel. Still United. Now, what's funny is China's got this thing called the C919. It is a narrow-body airliner produced by the state-owned Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, COMAC. The C919 entered commercial service in May of 2023. When did a lot of the failures of Boeing and stuff really start to get kind of extra wild? Interesting that China has essentially the same kind of airplane that they're trying to push on the market, and all of a sudden we keep having all these weird little things happening to Boeing and now even Airbus. But Boeing, heavily largest manufacturer of commercial airliners in the world, hands down, bar none. I wonder if Airbus was involved in any way, shape, or form, but now it seems that even they are subject to the pains. Something else I just wanted to mention. Texans are reporting a surge of receiving seeds in the mail. I've been ignoring this story. I think it's stupid. It's got this continued reading thing, and I refuse to give them my email address. That's never going to happen unless they can somehow tell me for sure that Alice Tang will be in touch with me. That ain't happen. NTD. But we've got some Alice Tang coming up. Man, she looks good today. Dadgum. I don't know what it was. Boy, I woke up in the mood for some Tang this morning. I don't know what the fuck happened. Anywho, Texans apparently have seeds being sent to them. This has happened before in the past. I think I even got one time, maybe. I think I did. Anyway, threw it away. Don't plant it. People are planting them. It's probably an invasive species. Probably bad. Probably going to shoot darts into your neck or some shit. Who knows? Probably going to wake up and see more. Feed me. And then all of a sudden you're going to die. Whatever the case is, don't plant them. If you have seeds mysteriously sent to you in the mail, probably not a good idea to plant them. Did you order seeds? Are they the seeds you ordered? Cool. Did seeds just show up randomly? Not good. Did you get some seeds that you didn't order? Not good. Who knows what's in those seeds? Don't plant them, please. I just felt like maybe it was worth mentioning. Most people should know that, but Putin offered a seat on Trump's Gaza peace board. Putin. That was so amazing. Can you imagine how much that pissed off everybody? It just makes it's not even worth it now. I don't even want to be a part of it. Very interesting how the world's changing. Multipolar. I'm sure she's going to be put on that. He probably just hasn't agreed yet or something, or acknowledged it or something. I don't know. Said, yay. I don't even know. But it's very cool that Putin's going to have a say no matter what. And so should she. That'd be fantastic. It'll probably just piss Israel off even more for all you guys that are, I hate Israel. All right. That might piss them off. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. They had some drone strikes. Ukraine, Kyiv, as they like to call themselves, attacked Odessa, which is a region of Ukraine that has people that are pro-Russian in it, speak Russian, like Russian people, didn't used to hate Ukrainians per se, do so now because they're being attacked by Ukraine within their own borders. You know, places they're like, no, this, you can't have it. It's got to go back to how it was before. You're attacking those people. Hundreds of thousands out of power now because this. Now, again, Kyiv's out of power too. So Trump's just, or Ukraine, there's no defenses that are going to stop these. So they can launch a bunch of drones in their own country. And most likely, Russia doesn't have a bunch of anti-drone technologies deep within Ukraine. That'd be quite the infrastructure to set up. So, yeah, unlikely happening. There is this weird thing that's been going around a little. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but wanted to bring it up. The possibility that Alberta might become part of the U.S. I feel like there's some sort of vote that they're considering doing. And Alberta house 80% of Canada's oil and 70% of its natural gas reserves. So, like, if they literally did decide, like, nah, we want to be the 51st state, that'd be cool. And do become the 51st state, would be the end of Canada, as like they would be screwed. These guys are a major part of their GDP. So there is some weird talk, and Trump knows what the hell he's doing. And Canada's talking to China right now, making deals with them for oil and stuff like that, because they know that they just got screwed from the U.S. And they're going to try to play hardball. And what's going to happen is Canada's going to own them. So Canada's deals are probably going to be brutal. And I wonder what's going to happen when they come back, if they've made the deals or not. Trump's deals are, oh, well, you guys are basically going to be part of us, essentially, or else. And they're like, we don't want to. We want to stay deep state. And they're like, no, you cannot be deep state and stay within our area of the world. Not going to happen. Apparently, sales of survival gear is soaring in Greenland. They're afraid that they're going to somehow be denied food and water because of us and this thing. This is stupid. And I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, how many people are there in Greenland? And there's 56,831 as of 2025. Who knows what it might be now? Looks like it's possibly 57,792. Oh no, like we couldn't just drop 15 pallets of food and feed all of you for a fucking year? Come on, get out of here. Get out of here, guys. I'm not going to let you starve. Please. 57,000. Shit. We got more Somalians stealing from us than you. Please. Things we could promise you. We could promise you probably golden toilet. Take it from that one Ukrainian guy and give it to one of you guys. You can sit on that all day long. Put it in a museum, right? That'd be cool. The famous gold toilet. As long as you don't let anyone steal it. So yeah, this Nobel, no Greenland, yada yada. Trump he's pissed, and he sent a note to the ambassador of Denmark. Said, "Dear ambassador, President Trump has asked that the following." This is I guess the dude that talks to them. What do they call the drawing a blank. It's a D word, isn't it? But yeah, whatever. The guy that goes and talks to them for us. The respective individual. Yes, dear ambassador, President Trump has asked that the following message shared with Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store be forwarded to your name, the head of government state. He said, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars, plus I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America." Camel case, by the way. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. And why do they have a right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more to NATO, or more for NATO, than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, Trump. This is pissing off everybody. Stock markets supposedly reacted, and again, Trump directly part of this. Trump says NATO has been telling Denmark for 20 years that you have to just get the Russian threat away from Greenland. But unfortunately, Denmark has been unable to do anything about it. Now it is time, and it will be done. President Donald J. Trump, again, he's doing the camel case. He's doing the camel case. This is new policy going forward as the Republic. Oh, good face. Good face. If you could do it without showing your teeth, we could. Anyways, Scott Bessent just said some crazy shit here about, the treatment of Greenland and how this whole process is going. And the Treasury is obviously going to be directly involved if any payments are going to be made.
And annex all of Greenland, something that 85% of people living in Greenland oppose.
Well, again, and let's look back. Denmark has a terrible history with Greenlanders. There was forced sterilizations up until the 80s or the 90s. So all of a sudden, now that the U.S. has expressed an interest, there is this new interest. And again, the United States needs to be in control to prevent a war, and that we do not want to get dragged into someone else's war.
It all comes down to Greenland. We need the area on the other side of Canada, especially because we can't trust Canada, so we can't put shit on their land. So we need a place where we can put stuff on the other side of Canada from Alaska. And then we have stuff all over the place. But Greenland is the last key piece of this proper placement. Many suspect, and I kind of think that's probably true, that there is some technology that currently exists there. And I do think there is old technology on this planet from the original builders that we're going to be utilizing as well. I think there will be a mixture of stuff we've added to the mix and stuff that exists already that will be used for this. Greenland is a key piece to this. Again, is it part of Lemuria? I'm wondering. Market risks returns as tariff shock jolts stocks, right? So Goldman maps 3 things that they think Europe can do. Goldman, they're a bunch of retards, but this is their power move with Greenland against us, the United States, by the way. Whoops, I should probably put my stupid face back on the camera, even though I got a face for radio. Crook outlined 3 potential levels of EU trade retaliation. 1, stalling the implementation of last year's EU-US trade deal. So we're going to keep charging higher interest rates and keeping certain products out of the European economy. 2, imposing counter tariffs on U.S. goods. Raise tariffs against us and leave the ones in place. Kind of mix them back to where they were, basically. Launching an anti-coercion instrument which would allow for a broader range of non-tariff retaliation options. Now, interestingly, that would be stuff like keeping things out of the market, hoarding things that maybe they have that we don't, and there might be some, but probably very few. Europe has little to nothing to offer the world at all, other than just absolute chaos and pandemonium and constant wars. And so Europe really is where a lot of, I think, the problems sort of reside currently still. United States kind of under control. China was still wondering about, but other parts of the country, certainly parts of Europe, Hungary, right? Italy, a few parts of Europe are definitely like, F you, Europe. England, kind of, but England's so dirty right now. England, you're falling. I don't know what's going on in England. England's a mess. I think we're probably going to lose England. I don't even know. England and Germany are 2 countries that maybe just have such bad karma that, who knows? We'll see. I'm always prayerful and hopeful, but we don't know. Karma's a funny thing. France and Germany call for EU trade bazooka in response to Trump's Greenland tariffs. They want to try to come hard to France and Germany, by the way. So Germany, of course, cars. France, I don't know, wine and gayness. I don't know if they can't import gay into this country somehow. Maybe we'll somehow, I don't know. It'll definitely make us stronger to not import any more gay France shit. Shut up. Fucking talk English. Stupid ass. I know you know English. I just saw you talking to that fucker just a second ago. Bastard. Racist towards French people. At least the white ones. I don't know if there's black French. It trips me out when like Asian person talks and they're like you know, having a fucking British accent. You're like, whoa, let's say, huh? My brain. It happens. I'm an American. I'm stupid like that. German soldiers arrive to Denmark, or I'm sorry, to Greenland. Yes, we will protect you. They showed up January 16th. January 17th, Trump imposed additional tariffs on Germany. January 18th, German soldiers departed from Greenland. Thank you for playing the Greenland game at home. Most of them probably got there and they're like, dude, it's even colder than friggin' where we're from. My goodness. I did hear some crazy thing. They got some crazy craft on there that affects the weather or something. Anyway, man, there's some good woo out there, and a lot of talk about Greenland. I have no idea what's actually true. You couldn't get within 200 miles of it. A B-52 bomber crashed. I don't know if you guys have heard that story. It's floating around right now. Piers Morgan apparently hospitalized after a bad fall. Now, I was expecting black eyes, but none apparent. Interesting. Again, wish him well. I hope you will. He's been on the side of, I feel like he's been trying to, like Russell Brand direction, if you will. So he, I don't know how he hurt. What, did he fall down some stairs? What happened? Hospital, bad fall. I don't know how you get hospitalized. I mean, again, a hip replacement? Oh, ouchie. God, he is getting old. Buddy. Ouchie, douchie. Man, I hope it wasn't like anyway, maybe I feel like he got maybe pushed down something, but whatever. What do I know? What do I know? Nothing, I say. Student gang raped, sexually assaulted in migrant integration experiment. They did this in Holland. Or they call it Dutch, I guess, the Dutch students referring to the individuals, but I think it's in Holland, Amsterdam area specifically. Yeah, about half the population of the students were like, I don't know, regular Amsterdamian. And the other 125 students were asylum seekers. They're living side by side, buddy system. They're always supposed to help each other, kind of blend into society to see if that worked. Well, a whole bunch of people got raped. A whole bunch of people got hurt, knife, threatened with a knife. Just typical kinds of things like that. I mean, but that's what you want. And people assimilating and stuff. Another British military of parliament has defected to the Reform Party. There's been a couple of these I've been noticing recently. Again, worried about England. They don't want Farage in there at all. They're actually literally trying to figure out how to keep elections from happening because of him. So I don't know what England's doing. I haven't seen any of them getting mad, but I can't tell when they are, frankly, ever. So unless they are doing something like France does. I mean, they're part of that crazy Europe. Oh, yeah. I got a couple stories from my girl. One of them, she is smoking hot. Dadgummit. Anyway, whatever. I don't know what the story is. It doesn't even matter. Frankly, I'm just looking forward to watching it. Death toll in Spanish train collision. This is so sad. Fuck, it's a horrible story. Yeah, Hottie's going to tell us about it.
A high-speed train in southern Spain derailed last night and collided with another train. At least 39 people were killed and more than 150 were injured. The mayor of Ademuz, Spain, reacted to the incident.
The scene.
Wreckage. Officials said the death toll is likely to rise. The Prime Minister of Spain called the incident a painful day for his country.
We will uncover the truth. We will find out the answers. And when we know the origin and cause of this tragedy, as we must, we will inform the public via the media with absolute transparency and clarity.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez canceled a planned trip to the World Economic Forum in Davos as he visited the crash site. He declared 3 days of national mourning starting at midnight. The accident is the deadliest in Spain in over 10 years. A crash in 2013 killed 80 people after a commuter train derailed as it came around the bend.
Yeah, coming around the bend will get you every time, right? Again, I was having weird issues with that particular video. I don't know if it's on their side or not. We'll find out. But man and boy, critical attack. 3 sharks. I want to play it, but yeah, what the hell? Because she's 3 shark. First off, this is oddly the way Australia is, guys. Australia, everything can kill you. Everything. You see a beautiful flower, and you go to beautiful flower, and you go to sniff it, and there's some deadly bee inside of it. It's one sting and you're dead in 1 step. You're like, and that's it.
3 separate shark attacks in just over 24 hours. A surfer in his 20s suffered a shark bite to the leg. Bystanders pulled him from the water and he arrived at a hospital in critical condition. And a 12-year-old boy suffered serious injuries to both legs in a separate attack. Police said the boy's 3 friends saved his life after jumping into a 20-foot rock during the attack and dragging him back to shore. And today, an 11-year-old boy was attacked on a surfboard. The shark bit him off a chunk of the board, but the boy escaped uninjured. Local authorities said Sydney's northern beaches would remain closed until further notice.
Yeah, whatever she said. Yes, shark bites. When the shark bites and the beast stings. Great song. Mac the Knife, I think it's the name. Anyway, whatever the case is, we have major changes happening. We are taking down the deep state. They are fighting fiercely and ferociously. It's going to affect other people differently depending on how basically jacked up you are. The jacked up scale will come into play. One of these days we'll try to illustrate that better. That'd be fun. Different levels of jacked. That'd be fun. You guys put that one out there. Hey, you can take it, steal it with it, run with it. Lots going to happen. A lot of people are going to need help. A lot of people are going to be fun to watch crash. I don't know. Enjoy the ride, is basically what I'm going to say. Popcorn is a great analogy. Enjoy it. Understand we're playing a part. You are an active participator, so please send energies that work in that direction for us and with us, and I think we'll all find the world becomes a much better place in a very quick time. You guys will be amazed. We're not going to recognize where we are in a little while compared to where we've been, and we'll soon forget where we've been, oddly. Like it's a fog that we've left. It's going to be weird how this all plays out, but you guys are going to enjoy it. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.